Okay, it is now day 2. While I'm still using the amount of sunlight that I have, we're going to go ahead and make our handle into an actual handle right here. So I've got to go find the center of this, which, for those of you who have paid attention, should still be 30 inches. Nothing should have changed. Yep. Still 30 inches. So, I know that 15 inches is the center point. So I'm going to make a mark there. 15 inches. Now, find out what would be a good grip for you. So right here, looks like 5 inches. It's about good for me right there. A little bit extra. Well, so like I'm going to go for 5 inches there. So I am going to need, find the 15-inch mark right there. Oops, wrong side. There it is. Alright, so I found 15 and we're going to go and put 2.5 inches on this side and then 2.5 inches down on this side here. So find here, 1, 2.5 up there. There's 15. 1, 2.5. Alrighty, so that right there is our handle from the center, 2.5 inches this way, 2.5 inches that way. Now, come with me over here. Now this is quite a bit of material to grab in your hand right there, so we have got to cut it down to make it more feasible for us. So, I am going to bring down, let's see, 1, 2, 3/8 it looks like. 3/8. 1, 2, 3. Yep. I'm gonna do 3/8 of an inch here. 3/8. 3/8. 3/8. All right. So that's 3/8 on this side and 3/8 on this side. I'm gonna go ahead and mark the line right here. There we go. That should give us, oop, not quite. There we go. That should give us about a full inch on the grip right there. Yes, exactly. So now we're going to narrow it down to 1 inch right there. So, this is our 5-inch mark. Other mark, so that's our 5 inches right there. Now, you can just cut it straight right there, but I prefer to round the edges right there. It doesn't need to be exactly precise, but I've got my oval cut out here. There we go. Alright. So now that we've got our rounded edges and our handle right there, we gotta go take our jigsaw and cut it out. So, here goes here. Alright, that's one side. There we go. Alright, and there we go. There's our nice little handle. Now we just gotta smooth out the edges. You can use any form of sanding you need to smooth down the edges so that you don't have the full 90-degree angles digging into your hand right there. So we just want to just lightly round the edges you want. I'm going to give it more of a more fully rounded shape, and so for that I'm just going to use a rasp file, and that is what I do. So here we're going to go have some footage of vigorous cutting and trying to sand this down here. Let's see how we can get this here. Okay. There we go. Now we go inside. Right now, and this is preliminary coming out of the fine sanding for the rest of there. And last one. Alrighty, so you can find this fine. There it is. There's the sandpaper. A much finer grit right there. Now just go over the and there we go. See, it's a much smoother as opposed to just the rough edging there. Much smoother. All right, now it is lovely, smooth, capable of centered in there. Looks pretty lovely, doesn't it? This would get the basic gist of it done. You could leave it just like this if you wanted to, but one, there is some excess weight of this wood that is not being used, so I'm going to trim it down. We save on weight. Aesthetically, I think it looks better, so it's a little bit of effort to make it, to cut it down, but all in everything considered, it's a win-win. So we are going to mark this into thirds. All right, so we know that it is 30 inches across, so to divide it into thirds would be 3 10-inch sections. So I know that 10 inches is 1/3 of it right there. It's 10 inches right there. You can find the 20-inch mark right here. There we go. So that 1, 2, 3, 3 even sections. Now here comes the fun part. At the end, let's move this one over here. This is currently a little over 1.5. It's about 1 3/4 inches right there. So I am going to say we're going to cut off 1/2 inch on this side and 1/2 inch on this side here. There we go. Now, so those are our 2 points there, and we have the marking of the 10 inches right here. So now we just need to draw a straight line from this point here to that point here, that diagonal there. You can use a tape measure if you want. I happen to have some extra pieces of wood lying around, so we'll just use that. So I'm going to mark it. There's the edge there. And we're going to find the edge there. There we go. There's one. Do the same thing on this side here. All right. There we go. So that gives us that sort of profiled tapered. We're cutting off excess wood that we don't need, and it gives us that sort of aesthetic look that we like. We'll just have to do the same exact thing onto this side here. All right, so now we know where we need to cut. Again, do the same thing with a jigsaw. This one side. Right, ta-da! And there we go. Nice, profiled, tapered edge right there. So now we have our lovely piece of wood here. Got a lovely piece of wood, all nice and cut. Now we just kind of have some rough edges that we need to get out of the way. So you could use some sandpaper here and just sand it down. But since I'm on a time schedule and I have an orbital sander, we're gonna go ahead and use this. So, yeah, there we go. Alright, now that we've got the faces of them pretty much good and sanded, now I'm going to just go a little bit rounding of the edges just to make it safe, or safer, so that there's no like sharp edges to digging into you there. Alright, so now everything is nice and smooth, all fresh. It feels great. So now let's go finish up on this one here. Alright, so now both edges are good there. We're almost ready to attach this. Okay, so I've grabbed the shield that was inside. And as you can see, our canvas has nice and glued onto there. I'm going to go cut off the excess around the edges. And then I got to go drill a place for the hand to fit. And then for the boss will go over top of that. So first, we're gonna need to cut off the excess fabric here. So got our lovely scissors here. We're going this way here. Alright, there we go. Looks nice, doesn't it? Alright. Now, here's the fun part. Like, we know the center of the shield is right there because we marked it for our compass to make the edge. So I know it's right there. So I just need to go grab my template. This right here is the template that I use. This is the lid to like a big jug of oats for oatmeal that I use. And since it's a circle and it's clear, I can see the little indentation mark where the center is. So I can place it right over, figure out where the center is. It's right there. And I can then just draw a circle around. Again, each plank is going this way, so we need to have the handle going this way for it to nail into it. And then look right there. Handle fits perfectly right in there. Little carpentry hacks that I use. So now I have to go and cut a circle. But like, how do I cut a circle without starting from the outside to get my blade in all the way there. Well, I have to drill a hole and big enough for the jigsaw blade to fit through, so then I can go around from the inside without damaging anything on the outside here. So, gotta go get my drill. A big enough drill bit, we'll call that one that. That one looks good. Alright, so I can drill a hole anywhere in between that circle there. So we'll say right here, that looks fine. I am not going to cut all the way through. I'm going to instead flip the shield over, and with a little pinprick that I can see poking out, because that's this point coming through, I'm going to go ahead and put it there. There we go. Alrighty. And now we got our hole. I get to go cut out a circle here. Oh, here we go. I'll cut from this side here. How about that? Maybe I can get you a little bit closer there. There we go. Perfect circle. Last final touch-up, say we would do. Take a little bit of sandpaper and then just go around the edge. Get it all nice and smooth. There we go. There is our shield. Ready to go. We're going to ready to attach the handle. We're going to go inside for that. Okay, so we're back inside now. I'm going to set this down over here for a bit. So, just going to go over the steps that we need to go to attach the handle to our shield right here. Just preliminary stuff right here. So for those of you who decide to go ahead and make these and you just glue the boards together and you're trying to, you know, pick it up and move it around everything, you will notice that these boards tend to wobble and bend quite a bit. But as soon as you put on this reinforcement right here, granted there is a bit of, you know, flex right in there, but it will hold its shape pretty darn well. So that's one of the greatest reasons why we have this canvas facing on here. And then of course, if you would want to have a canvas backing on there, now would be the time to put it on before you put this on. So, and in all honesty, you would put the canvas, glue the canvas backing on there before you cut the hole, because now if you wanted to put the canvas facing, you have like, okay, what do you do with this hole right here? Granted, it wouldn't be too difficult to try and, you know, cut the hole out right there, but in my opinion, it would just be easier to glue the facing, glue the backing, find the center, mark the hole, and then cut out that hole, and then you do everything all at once. But you do you. We know that the handle is 30 inches, and we know that the shield is 32. So, let me go get the tape measure. We need to have about 1 inch approximately on this side here, and about 1 inch on that side there. Just go ahead and draw just a straight line in between these two to get a general idea where it is. There we go. So seeing somewhere right there and right there. Again, you can pretty much eyeball it of how perpendicular you need it to be to the wood grain. So yeah, obviously, you know, like if you do it like that, you're kind of off. But you know, if you're off by like, you know, like a couple degrees, you know, it's not gonna be the huge difference right there. But yeah, if you aim it so that, you know, all the planks are going this way, you can see all these lines right here. That seems to be pretty much what we got right there. So now what I need to do is I need to pre-drill holes before I start pounding the nails in there, because if I just like glue the handle onto there and then I start pounding these in, things will start splitting. So I need to pre-drill some holes before I put the nails to rivet it onto there. So we say that this is a pretty good spot right there. It's on our mark right here, it's on our mark right there. So I'm going to find the center of the plank, you know, roughly about there. There, I've changed the drill bit to a small bit right there. And I don't really much care or have much investment in this end table, so I can go ahead and drill through this here. So alright, so that should be enough for our nails. Go, ooh, perfect. I don't know if you can see how nice and snug those go into there. There's our hole. There's our nail. I think that's a pretty darn good fit right there. So what we would do is I would put the nail from this end so that the canvas facing that we're just in has the rivet right there. So it has that right there, but then we would poke it through that right there. There we go. So now I just have to hammer this to either bend it down and clamp it into place, or just completely flatten this tip and make more of a disc so that it makes it now make essentially make it look like this, and by hammering it down. Okay, now that we've gotten all that fixed out, I've now drilled a hole, do the same thing on mirrored image on this side over here, same thing as well for the actual shield itself, so that a nail, if I can find it, there it goes, we go to the hole, and then, come on, it into there. Okay, so now we have our place right there. So before I go ahead and start drilling and start nailing everything, I'm going to also glue the handle onto there before I put the nail, so that it's glued and riveted, which would be the same thing that they would do back then as well. So before he gets like, whoa, 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 what are you doing? Like, no, that's what they did back then as well. So I just need to form a straight line between these two right there. So I'm just going to go ahead and take a little bit on that side as too. Straight on. Straight on. There we go. Call that one good. Head up, swivel around. I'm just going to do the same thing where we just go back and forth, find our hole so that it's in the place where it needs to be. And then you just need to put some weight on there to put pressure. I'm going to have 40 pounds of pressure. So I'm gonna set this 20-pound dumbbell here, and this 20-pound dumbbell here, and we're just gonna let it dry. So I'll be back in an hour.